Good morning from WLDS. I'm Andrea Mossinger. Joining me are Matt Bolger with the weather and Rob Nielsen with the sports. For the news at this hour, Jamie McMahon and Christopher Kaufman have been sentenced to life in prison. The two men pleaded guilty to robbing the Gibson Savings Bank last June and murdering 52-year-old Barbara Garber and 18-year-old Island Schultz. They have also been accused of 2 federal counts of carjacking. U.S. District Judge Charles Wool agonized over seeking the death penalty against the 2 stepbrothers, then accepted their plea agreement, ensuring the killers never walk the streets again. There's been a new discovery in the death of Princess Diana. The Mercedes in which the princess was killed was traveling at 60 miles per hour, half the speed as reported earlier. A professor of transport safety says all 4 occupants would have survived. The Paris' traffic tunnel had been equipped with crash barriers. The August 31st accident killed Diana, her companion Jody Fayed, and their driver Henri Paul, who was found to be legally drunk. The only survivor was bodyguard Trevor Reeves-Jones. President Fidel Castro saw Pope John Paul II off at Havana's airport Monday, saying he had nothing to hide from the world and congratulating the Pope for visiting Cuba. The Pope said that Cuba should be a land of greater freedom and pluralism. It was the climax of a difficult 5-day pilgrimage during which the Pope had to balance criticism of Cuba's communist system with the need to foster the Cuban church. Taking a look at national news, a Chicago scientist says he is ready to clone a human. The scientist, G. Richard Seed, is a physicist who has been involved in various kinds of fertility research since the early 1970s. Cloning is an experimental method for replicating adult animals that was made famous last year when scientists in Scotland used it to make Dolly the sheep, the first cloned mammal. A national commission last year recommended that Congress enact a law that would make cloning illegal, saying it posed unacceptable medical risks and raised deeply troubling ethical questions. None of the legislation produced so far has made it through even early stages of congressional review. News anchor Dan Rather will be the co-host of the Winter Olympics opening ceremony on February 6th. The opening ceremony will be broadcast live from 7 to 10 p.m. That already sets it apart from most of the Olympic Games, which will be shown on tape because of the 14-hour time difference with Japan. An Iowa woman is especially grateful this new year. After 1.5 years of waiting and worrying, Carrie Halvakosh of Marion has received a heart transplant. Carrie was born with a genetic disease that causes enlarged hearts that can't pump blood efficiently. Now Carrie looks to tomorrow with bright eyes, warm toes, and a thankfulness she can never express to the family of the young North Dakota man who donated the heart. Well, Carrie might have warm toes, but will we, Matt?
Not unless you wear 2 pairs of socks, Andrea.
Oh, no.
On the national map, very active weather will continue over the nation today. Showers and rain will be widespread over the central Mississippi Valley, Ohio Valley, and Great Lakes. Another storm will gel in the Texas Panhandle but not live up to the strength of its predecessor in the lakes. Here in the Midwest, conditions will rapidly improve as warm and humid air pushes the mercury above freezing in all but the far north. Another low-pressure system will track north along the Mississippi River, producing heavy rain from Springfield, Missouri to Chicago. Now let's take a look at some highs and lows around the country. San Francisco can expect a nice, mild day with a high of 55 and a low around 42. In Denver, there will be partly cloudy skies with a high of 40 and a low of 16. Better get your galoshes and umbrellas ready, Chicago, because you're going to get rain and lots of it. You'll also have a high of 50 and a low of 42. In Miami, there will be light showers and temperatures between 80 and 72. Here in Iowa, we can expect normal January weather. Sioux City will have a high of 21 and a low of 12. It'll reach 34 in Des Moines before dipping down to 31. Iowa City can expect a high of 36 and a low of 33. In Waterloo, there will be a high of 32 and a low of 28. In Cedar Rapids, the high will reach 37 before dropping to 29. Now for the 3-day forecast. Wednesday will be mostly cloudy with a 5 to 10 mile an hour wind out of the west. The high will be 26 and the low 12. Thursday will be partly cloudy and a bit cooler, with a high of 32 and a low of 20. Friday, snow showers will be developing late. The high will be 33, and a low 24. So as you can see, Andrea, winter isn't done with us yet.
Oh, come on, Matt. I'm getting tired of this cold weather. Well, now let's find out the latest in sports. Bob.
Thank you, Andrea. Jared DeVries thought he knew what to do. He'd leave school early, make lots of money, and pursue his dream. No more classes, no more tests, no more term papers at the University of Iowa. Just football, plain and simple. I have lots of unfinished business here at the university, DeVries, an All-American defensive tackle, said at a press conference Monday. DeVries was named the second-team All-American and the Big Ten Defensive Lineman of the Year this season. He has started 36 straight games for the Hawkeyes and holds school records for sacks and tackles for loss. DeVries figured he would be a late first-round or early second-round selection. The New York Rangers suffered another blow to their defensive core when it was learned last week Joe Samuelson will be sidelined until the All-Star break with a sprained knee ligament. The Rangers are already without defensiveman Jeff Bookboom, who broke his ankle in a December 16th game at New Jersey. Samuelson suffered the knee injury in the first period of Saturday's 3-2 win in Washington. Former Los Angeles pitcher Don Sutton received 386 votes and was elected into the Hall of Fame in Cooperstown. Sutton, who had a career 324 wins, a 3.26 ERA, and compiled 3,574 strikeouts in his 23-year career. Sutton was the only person to get in this year. Let the rivalry begin for Sunday's AFC Championship game rematch, the fifth game between the two of the conference's most successful franchises, but the first in a title setting. The team split their previous 4 playoff meetings. Denver coach Mike Shanahan blamed last month's loss largely on a succession of drop passes by receivers, rather than a Steelers defense that held his team to 3 points in the second half. The comments he made, he has to live with that, defensive end Kevin Henry said Monday of Shanahan's remarks, which were widely circulated in the Steelers' locker room. Now for some women's top 25 scores. Campbell upset number 21 Florida International 78-73. Clemson upset number 9 Virginia 91-72. Now for some men's top 25 scores. Number 10 UCLA had no trouble defeating Arizona State 81-70. Number 25 West Virginia defeated Georgetown 74-67. And number 5 Arizona barely slid by Southern Cal 69-67. Well, Andrea, it looks like your Wildcats barely won that one.
I know. I sure hope they win the national title again.